you have this moment where something that was literally just an idea in your mind, and not only is that idea an actual thing, but now you got the entire country seeing it and wanting it. Like, it's such an incredible feeling. Hey there, and welcome to my channel. I am super excited to do this video. I get a lot of messages of people asking for the story of how did I go from a personal trainer to being a Shark Tank entrepreneur with my fitness nutrition products. So I thought it'd be fun to do this video, show you exactly how I did it and all the fun stuff that I've learned in between. So back in 2013, 2014, I was working full-time as a personal trainer. I had my own personal training business. I was going to people's homes, doing one-on-one personal training sessions, businesses, the typical route. My background with that was I started out, like most do, as a personal trainer at a gym, doing comp sessions, floor sessions, working really, really hard to get clients, and then had a point where I had enough clients that I took it outside the gym and started building a personal training business on that. So one of the things that I loved about personal training was the opportunity to really help people, work with people one-on-one, take my passion for fitness and nutrition and share that with others and watch them go through their own transformation like fitness was for me. And I did this from about 2009 till like 2013, 2014, when I hit this point that a lot of trainers hit. I had been about 4 or 5 years in the personal training business, and the struggle was I was trading my time for money. And, if you're a good personal trainer, eventually you work yourself out of clients because clients get results and then they don't need you as much anymore and you send them on their way. So I started getting frustrated with the constant process of I would have plenty of clients, those clients would get results, then I would have to go find new ones and then start the process all over. But I also got burned out just because of the early morning 5 a.m. sessions, the late evening sessions, just always feeling like I was exhausted, loving what I did, but feeling exhausted, trading time for money, having crazy weird hours, and just feeling like it was a never-ending vicious cycle. Because with fitness and personal training, it is a service-based business. It's a coaching business. And the only way to scale is to take on more clients. And when there's only one of you, you can't really do much of that. I mean, you do have the opportunity to take on a bunch of other coaches, but that just didn't really inspire me. So it's 2013, 2014, and I'm at this place where I'm like, gosh, I am so burned out. I love helping people. I love the fitness and nutrition industry, but I want to do something else. I wanted to do something that gave me freedom of time, freedom of my location, and allowed me to help more people on a larger scale without it burning me out anymore. So I had this pull and I started reading. I was reading all these books. There was a book back then called Infinite Possibilities by Mike Dooley, which just kind of opened up my mind to visualization, thinking bigger, really just like dreaming big about what can I do that allows me to use this passion and turn it into something that really helps people on a bigger scale. So I started there knowing that I was doing my personal training clients, and every day when I came home, I kind of just like sat in this space of getting clear on what it is that I wanted. And the main bullet points for me were, I wanted it to be in my passion. I wanted it to help a lot of people. I wanted it to be scalable, and I wanted to make at least 6 figures. So I always had a passion for food. I always had a passion for food. I always had a passion for baking. And it's kind of funny because when I first got into my own fitness journey, not even the fitness industry, one of the things that I struggled with the most was the food aspect. The food aspect, because I was like taking advice from all these fitness models and bodybuilders and people who were just shredded. And they were telling me like, here's exactly what you need to eat. You need to eat these plain green beans and tilapia and plain oats and this and that. And I remember I would do great for like a week. And then I would get so frustrated because I'm like, I don't even want to eat because this food is so terrible. Like, I don't really care. And so food was always a struggle for me and I could never stick with it. So I always just naturally used my creativity and my passion for food to come up with recipes that tasted like the foods that I loved and still in a way kind of hit the macronutrients of like, all right, I need this many protein, carbs, fat, calories, whatever. So going back to the story, I'm this personal trainer, I'm feeling burned out, I'm struggling to like keep the momentum of like the churn of clients, but then working crazy hours, having this pull to do something bigger that's in my passion. And I was meditating every morning before my 5 a.m. session. And then one day, as I was making my breakfast, which my breakfast at that time was a protein pancake recipe that I had come up with and made for myself every day because it was high protein, low carb, gluten-free, all natural, low sugar, and kept me full for hours. But I mean, it was pancakes. I never felt like I was like dieting, like eating egg whites and whatever, like plain oats. One day while I was making that, in this process of meditating of like, what can I do that helps people, that's fitness and nutrition related and like is scalable and gives me freedom of time and freedom of location, I literally remember stopping in the middle of making my pancake mix and I was like, I wonder if other people would have a similar experience if I turn this into a product line. If this has been helping me with my nutrition without feeling deprived, I wonder if other people have the same problem. And if I turn this into a product, if I could actually help them. So to be totally transparent, I did not have a clue of how to make a food product, how to make a physical product. Like I had done like some ebooks and some e-courses, but to actually make a product, I had no idea. Didn't know how to do supplement, didn't know anything about nutrition labels or anything like that. So what I did was I was training my clients in the morning. I'd have clients till, like most trainers, I would have clients till about lunchtime, then a gap from like 12 to 4. I was going to Barnes & Noble, to Starbucks, to the bookstores, Googling things like how to start your own food product, how to start a nutrition food product, how to start your own supplement line, how to create your own supplement formula, asking so many questions. I mean, I literally would sit in the bookstore just like reading anything I could of how in the world do you even do this? Eventually, during this process, I found a company that let you make your own protein mixes. And the purpose of this company was so you could make your own protein powder. So if you had a specific blend, you wanted a certain amount of whey, a certain amount of isolate, a certain amount of casein, collagen, you could create your own formulation so that it fit your needs. So I found this company that allows you to play around with this. And I started experimenting. So I hadn't turned this into a product or anything. I started experimenting with my recipe to really perfect it so that if I mix this up, if somebody else made it, they would get the exact same result. Because so with protein and with baking and type of recipes, casein always works better in baking recipes than whey does. It has a different consistency. So I was working on figuring out how do I come up, what is the perfect ratio of whey and casein to make this up, but then also using the right flours, the right natural flavors and sweeteners and all these things. So I worked on this for a couple months and then I decided I wanted to come up with 3 flavors. I'm like, okay, I feel good about the base. What are 3 flavors? And to be totally honest, I came up with the flavors based on what I saw other people creating flavors of in the protein bar industry. Because when I made this, there were no protein pancake mixes, none. Which is the reason I did this. There were no protein pancake mixes that were natural, high protein, low carb, and gluten-free that I could find, which is what inspired me to make this. So I was doing a lot of things based off of protein bars. So I found a couple very popular flavors with different protein bars. and I came up with the flavors of chocolate chip, vanilla cake batter, and cinnamon roll. The reason is because the base of all of those was vanilla, and the only thing you needed to do was change one thing to change the flavor. Cinnamon, you just needed cinnamon. Chocolate chip, you just needed chocolate chip. So I had my 3 flavors. I felt really good about the formulation of what I had created with the nutrition, the macros, the flavoring, all that stuff. And I started ordering my own custom protein mix in bulk from this company, going to the grocery store every day, buying the raw ingredients like coconut flour and like stevia and like all these different things. I literally bought unlabeled protein tubs that I was mixing up in my kitchen one by one, like literally like 1 tablespoon of this, 1 scoop of this, like so bootstrap. And then I literally made a post on Instagram about this, just saying like, hey, high protein, low carb, and I put the macros in it. And somebody I didn't even know on Instagram sent a message that was like, where can I buy this? And that's when I knew that I was onto something. I had no website, no plan, no idea what I was doing, but little by little, I would sell this to one person on Instagram. They would then buy it, tell a friend, or have a friend that they gave it to, who would then find me and message me asking how they could buy it. And every day it was the process of going to the grocery store, buying the stuff in bulk, figuring out the measurements. So like learning how to use scales and weighing things, packaging it up. And even to the point that I used to write people's flavors and names with a Sharpie on these plain protein tubs because I didn't have manufacturers or fulfillment or anything like that. I was just like, order came in, mix it up, write it on there. I'm like, cool, here you go. So in the very beginning, that is how it started. And people like, everybody was ordering from Facebook and Instagram. I was taking payments through PayPal because I didn't really know how to take payments. And then I got my first opportunity to do a tasting. The guy that I was dating at the time had set up this opportunity where a very popular, very busy gym in the Tampa Bay area let me come in and sample out some of my pancakes to like, it's a place where like athletes were coming, bodybuilders were coming, all these people were coming in, and it just really gave me the opportunity to market test. I mean, half the time I feel like in entrepreneurship, when you're starting a business, you don't know what you're doing, but you're doing it. I didn't know this was market testing, but I was testing the market. I didn't know I was doing product formulation and development when I was figuring out the recipe and all those things. So I got this first opportunity at this gym to do this tasting and getting people's response, people wanting to buy it and asking, I want to buy this. How many can I buy right now? And I never had product. They were basically giving me their email, their name, and their number. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll have it ready for you and shipped out in 3 to 5 business days. And in my mind, I'm like, when I go to the grocery store, mix this up and get more protein tubs is when you'll get it shipped. So that was my first opportunity to like really put it out there and see how other people responded. My idea and the thought behind this was, and with any business, go to the place where your customers are. So fitness and nutrition, where are the people who are looking for health and wellness and fitness and nutrition products? The gym, trying to lose weight and eat healthy. If they like it, then you're onto something. So this boosted my confidence, and like little by little, like it wasn't, looking back in hindsight, it was fast, but it's these little milestone things that boost your confidence and belief in yourself of like, people like this. I am onto something. It's not just me that has this problem. Other people need this solution too. So I had this opportunity, did the tasting at this gym. I'm mixing stuff up in my tiny apartment in my kitchen. I'm going to the post office every day. I'm taking orders from Instagram and getting payments through PayPal. Then I got my first actual TV opportunity. So the same guy who set up this tasting at the gym knew somebody at a local ABC station who was doing a 4th of July segment and asked if, hey, do you want to come in and do a 4th of July TV spot talking about your product, about these protein pancakes. I think it was like a 48-hour notice. Of course, I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going on TV. I'm talking to people about this. I don't even have packaging. I don't have a website. What am I doing? And me and him were running around all over the place. Like, what am I going to take on air? I don't have any packaging. And I literally mixed up my products. It was in a food saver heat sealed bag with a label that I printed at the local FedEx Kinko's, slapped on the front of it. And that is what I went on my first TV segment with, of like, yeah, here's my protein pancakes, check them out. And the funny thing about that is the woman who was doing it, she's like, oh my God, I love your packaging. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? This is a food saver bag. So people loved it. I did that. And then even then I didn't, as you can see in the clip, I didn't even have a website. I was directing people to a Facebook business page, taking orders through people's messages. And I just had this deep sense of knowing like I am onto something. This is going to be something big. So timeline wise, from like when I first started this, like formulation and all that, I'd say it was probably around like March, April. And then the first TV segment was around July. So a few months later. So that's kind of like the timeline of when this happened. So getting this like feedback and this momentum from the tasting, from doing this ABC local TV spot, I spent about $500, hired a web developer to build me a very basic website on Shopify because that was the simplest format for selling things online at the time. And I just started posting on Instagram. Every day. Meanwhile, I'm still doing my personal training clients like normal. It's just I have this thing that I'm also building on the side. And literally every time I made an Instagram post, orders came through. So the process was like Instagram post, orders came through, training clients, going to the store, getting all the stuff that I need, mixing it up, going to the post office the next day with like boxes of like shipments, shipping them out, rinse and repeat. It was a lot of work in the beginning, but it really gave me the opportunity to figure out what I was even doing, the process of how this even looks, and building something that felt like had serious potential for success. So I was doing this for a while. I did this for a few months. And then I got another big break when a very famous, well-known bodybuilder in the fitness industry bought my product. I didn't even realize bought my product. And when she bought it, she made a Facebook post about it. And I'll never forget this because I was living in San Diego at the time, working on this, figuring it out, like how can I get more exposure? Had no investment, no money, no marketing, nothing like that. And the gym that I was going to out there, the people who owned it kind of knew a little bit about what I was doing. And I walked into the gym that morning and my mind is just like, okay, what do I need to do? I need to do the post. I need to get more product. I need to do this. I got to figure out a system, all this stuff. And I walked in the gym that morning. The girl at the front desk was like, have you been on Facebook? I was like, what? No, why? What do you mean? She's like, you should go on Facebook. And I went on Facebook and I saw the post Dana Lynn Bailey had made at the time. And I was like, oh my God. Like hundreds of orders came in. And I remember freaking out because it's just one of those moments where you can't really like call it luck, call it work or what is it, where you're working opportunity and luck kind of meet each other. I don't know, you know the saying. But it's one of those moments where like I just had my head down and I was doing the work, not really like focused on the how. And all these opportunities kept showing up. And she made that post and so many orders came in that there was no way that I could fill these on my own. And that is what kind of pushed me into figuring out like, I have to find a manufacturer. I have to figure out how I'm going to find a manufacturer because this is too many, or it would take me forever to fill these orders. And there's no way that I can do this. So if you don't know, in the manufacturing world, and you might not know because I didn't know, Manufacturers have very big minimums. And what that means is when you are a new business owner, say I needed 500 units, so I needed 500 bags of my product. That's a lot of product to me, being brand new. Most manufacturers have minimums of at least 10,000 units per flavor. So trying to find a manufacturer during this time, and especially one, there's something called GMP, good manufacturing procedures. So that way your product is like legally consumable and you can actually sell it, and they have all the certifications and sanitization and all those things. Finding one that wasn't going to expect me to order thousands and thousands of units at a time was definitely a challenge. And it wasn't even something that I had experience in, but the hardest part about it was I was living somewhere I didn't know anybody. I had no clue how to even go about calling manufacturers, and everybody thought it was a joke. I can remember one manufacturer, I walked right in and I was like, "Hi." And I had my recipe written down on a piece of paper. I was like, "Hi, I just want to know, here's my recipe. I've been selling this product and people seem to really like it. And I just want to know if you can make it for me and I can have a system built out." And I remember he just kind of chuckled and smiled because I was so naive. He was like, "When you say you're selling some of these, how many are you selling?" And I was like, "Oh, I sold 10 this week." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't think that we're going to be a good fit because you can come talk to me when you're 50,000. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. So the manufacturing process is probably the hardest process in figuring out your product. Fortunately, I got very lucky and I did find a company out in San Diego that allowed me to produce 500 units at a time, which was a lifesaver. Granted, the con to doing that was I had to pay a ton of money, double the price, because my orders were so low. Obviously, the more you order, the price per unit on your cost goes down, but I didn't care. I had all these orders that came in from the post with Dana Lynn Bailey. I was like, "Listen, I don't care. I just need you to make this because I can't make all of this." And that was the thing that pushed me to getting a manufacturer and a co-packer. So I'm living in California. I'm living in Southern California at this time. I'm out there doing everything I can to promote my protein pancake mix. I'm posting on social media. I'm going to local nutrition stores to get them to order and carry it in there. I'm going to fitness expos to get more exposure. And during this time, at one point, I'm out there promoting my product, and the more people I'm telling about it, I had three to four people in one day that were like, you should apply to be on Shark Tank. You should go on Shark Tank. You should go on Shark Tank. And I believe in life, when you hear something 2 or 3 times, especially in that short of time, that's usually the universe trying to tell you something. It's also interesting because when you're out there talking about what it is you want and your vision more and more, I do believe the more you talk about something, the more you put it into motion and the more it becomes a reality, and then the more things show up to help create that. So I'm at this expo, 3 or 4 people are telling me you should go on Shark Tank, you should go on Shark Tank, you should go on Shark Tank. And I am still figuring it out. That I'm like, haha, yeah, that's a great idea, because I used to watch the show all the time. And I was like, you know what? Whatever, I'll apply. Nothing's going to happen. And I did. And I remember I couldn't answer half the questions on the application because I didn't have, my business was 6 months old. I didn't know what the question was asking because I was brand new to this. I didn't know what customer acquisition was. I was just learning out revenues and profit margins. I didn't know marketing expense. Half of it, I was just not applicable. I don't know. It's how much revenue does your business do this year? I'm 6 months in. I don't know. What's your projection the next 3 years? I don't know. What's your marketing budget? I don't know. So when I applied for it, I was like, they're going to look at this and laugh and be like, huh, this girl's cute. She's got nothing. She's just like out there hustling these pancakes and like selling them to people, but whatever. So I applied, let it go. And in the meantime, I am still just hustling like crazy. I'm going to every expo, connecting with influencers to get them to talk about it and promote it. And I remember this, so now timeline, that was like September-ish that I applied. So now we're out, it's like February. And February, I was at a fitness business conference for other personal trainers who were trying to build their personal training business. And I was one of the sponsors with my product of just trying to get these other trainers to promote it to their clients. And while I was there, I had this call from somebody in Los Angeles. And I didn't answer it because I didn't know the number, and it went to voicemail. And then I went outside to listen to it, and it was a producer from the show that said they really liked my idea and my product, and they wanted to put me through the next round. And I went back inside this fitness expo freaking out. I was like, oh my God. Like they want to know more about this business. They want to know more about this product. Like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. So that's really, I mean, how it happened. I can't, because of confidentiality with the show, I can't tell you all the behind the scenes and the process of it, but that's how it got to that point. And once Shark Tank happened, about a year or so later, so my business was about a year and a half old. The business was about a year old when I pitched. And in that year, I had done over $100,000 in sales for this business that just a year prior, I'm like this struggling personal trainer trying to find a way out of the grind and what I can do to help more people and how to take my passion for food and nutrition and share it with other people. And then being so busy working that then it's like, oh my God, a year later, and I surpassed my goal. And here I am living this dream of being on Shark Tank and sharing my idea with the entire country. So Shark Tank aired in 2016. I got to walk on set and pitch my recipe and idea to a room full of very intimidating investors, and seal a deal with Damon John. And after that, I mean, then like opportunities with magazines, other TV opportunities, HSN came through, all these incredible things happened. And it is such a surreal feeling as an entrepreneur, as a visionary, when you have this moment where something that was literally just an idea in your mind that nobody else could see, that you feel something in your gut. You're like, I don't know, I just feel like this might be something. And to see something that wasn't even tangible, just an idea, a thought, and then to be in a situation where you're seeing it on national television, and not only is that idea an actual thing, but now you got the entire country seeing it and wanting it. Like, it's such an incredible feeling. So that's literally the process of how I went from a personal trainer to landing a deal on ABC Shark Tank. So then just to kind of like fast forward a little bit, that's 2016, it aired 2016, 2017. I mean, things just kept climbing, kept going up, all these opportunities. Then around 2018, 2019, I had that same pull that I did before I started my business, where I was like, man, like I've kind of hit the high point of what I wanted to do with this. I had no idea how far I could take this product. And now like I've hit all these spots. Like I'm very proud of what has happened with it. And it's helping so many people, but I feel pulled again. I feel pulled again to do something bigger. So I took a little bit of a break from the business, and not like I shut it down or anything, but just I shifted my focus and focused on sharing the things that I had learned, sharing the inspiration and the passion, and started coaching other personal trainers, nutritionists, health and fitness coaches and enthusiasts on their business and their goals and their dreams and how to create the life that they really wanted. And after doing this for, I guess, a couple of years, I just knew it was time. And I made the decision to sell my business a little over a year ago. So I put the business for sale in 2021 and then sold the business last year in 2022. And it's interesting because so many people think I'm crazy. And they're like, why would you ever do that? Why would you sell your business? This is what it is. And honestly, I believe there's a lot of value in quitting for the purpose of your own growth and evolution, instead of continuing to cling to something that is no longer bringing you joy or fulfillment, or clinging to something that just, you got everything you wanted out of it. So I sold that business and it led me to here, to now. And people always ask me what's next? What are you going to do next? And right now, what I've been doing is I have the Phoenix Rising podcast where I share a lot of tools that I've learned over the last 15 years as a fitness, nutrition, and mindset expert, being in magazines, being on TV, also sharing everything I learned as a Shark Tank entrepreneur and just running and owning a business, and creating these videos just to really help inspire and educate and empower other people to really unlock your full potential and what you're capable of if you really just take the time to dig deep and believe in yourself and your skills and your talents and things that you do so naturally that nobody else can do. So I thought it'd be really fun to just share this story and tell you the process of how I did it, in the hopes that maybe you have an idea or something that you can share with the world that can really help other people that you're taking for granted. Or maybe it's just you have that pull to take your passion and put it out there and create something. And I'm hoping that by sharing this story, it inspires you to stretch yourself, to think big, to see what you can do that you've never done before. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching this and for giving me the opportunity to share a little bit of the story. Also, if you want to know the exact logistics and steps behind how I took my idea for a product and literally the process of how I turned it into a business line, I've got another video that you can check out. That's a speech that I did at a fitness conference for other personal trainers a couple of years ago, where it's about 45 minutes long. And I'm like, all right, here's how I took this recipe, turned it into a product line, the marketing, the fulfillment, and everything by that. So if that's interesting to you, check out this other video. Also, be sure to subscribe. I'm going to keep putting out more content like this. And let me know your thoughts. Was this video helpful? Do you want to know more about this? And how can I help inspire and empower you to become your best self and reach your full potential? I truly appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the other videos. Bye.